Sometimes sitting in a group, completely quiet, feels better than being noticed at all. There's this weird comfort in being ignored that most people don't even understand. Some people don't chase attention, they actually feel safer when nobody sees them. If you're someone who doesn't chase attention, this probably feels very familiar to you. While others try to be seen, you feel safer when nobody is watching closely. It's not that you dislike people, you just don't need constant validation from them. Your brain slowly learned that attention often comes with pressure, expectations, and emotional risk. So instead of chasing it, you found comfort in staying unnoticed and emotionally protected. People might think you lack confidence, but that's not actually what's happening here. You simply feel more in control when you're not being constantly observed or judged. Think about being in a group chat where everyone is replying fast and loudly. You read everything, understand everything, but choose not to respond most of the time. Not because you have nothing to say, but because silence feels more peaceful. You've realized that speaking often leads to overthinking what you said afterward. So avoiding that loop becomes more valuable than being part of the conversation. Your mind prefers calm over chaos, even if that means being overlooked sometimes. This isn't weakness, it's a form of emotional self-regulation most people don't notice. You're not disconnected, you're just choosing where your energy actually goes. And honestly, that level of awareness is something many people never develop. But from the outside, it still gets misunderstood as being distant or uninterested. Now think about social gatherings where everyone is trying to stand out and connect. You're there physically, but mentally you're just observing everything quietly from the side. You notice details others miss, like tone shifts, body language, and emotional patterns. While they chase attention, you're reading the room without saying much at all. That ability often comes from growing up feeling unheard or overlooked repeatedly. Your brain adapted by becoming more aware instead of more expressive outwardly. So now, silence feels natural, almost like a safe place you can return to. And attention feels slightly uncomfortable, like something that disrupts your internal balance. It's not fear exactly, it's more like emotional caution built over time. A quiet preference for peace rather than constant social stimulation and approval. In relationships, you might notice you don't demand attention the way others do. You're okay with space, even long silences, without immediately feeling anxious or insecure. But sometimes, that calm comes from learning not to expect too much from others, because expecting often led to disappointment earlier in your life experiences. So your brain adjusted by lowering expectations and finding comfort in independence instead. That's why being ignored doesn't hit you as hard as it does others. In fact, sometimes it feels easier than dealing with emotional complexity and misunderstandings. You avoid unnecessary conflict by simply stepping back instead of reacting immediately. People might think you don't care, but you actually just process things differently. Your emotional system prefers stability over constant emotional highs and lows. At work or school, you probably don't try hard to get recognition from others. Focus on doing things quietly, without needing constant praise or validation. Because deep down, you've learned recognition doesn't always equal genuine appreciation anyway. Sometimes attention feels temporary, while peace feels much more consistent and reliable. So you choose consistency over visibility, even if others don't fully understand it. This creates a different kind of confidence, one that isn't dependent on external reactions. It's quieter, less obvious, but often much more stable internally. You don't need to prove yourself constantly because you already feel grounded inside. And that changes how you respond to being ignored completely. It stops feeling like rejection and starts feeling like freedom instead. When you're alone, you don't rush to fill the silence with distractions or noise. You can sit with your thoughts without immediately needing external stimulation. That's something many people actually struggle with more than they realize, because being alone forces them to face thoughts they usually avoid. But for you, solitude feels familiar, almost like returning to a known environment. You're not escaping people, you're reconnecting with your own internal space, and that space doesn't demand anything from you, which makes it feel safe. No expectations, no pressure, no need to perform or explain yourself constantly. Just quiet presence, something that feels rare in a noisy world. And that's why being ignored doesn't disturb you the same way. Even on social media, you might notice you don't crave likes or constant interaction. You post rarely, and when you do, you don't check reactions obsessively afterward, because you've detached your self-worth from how others respond to you. And that's actually a form of emotional independence many people are still chasing. While others feel anxious waiting for validation, you feel calm without it. It's like your system learned to function without external confirmation, which can look like disinterest, but is actually quiet self-reliance. You don't need constant feedback to feel okay with yourself anymore. And that changes how you experience attention and absence completely. Both start to feel less important over time. But here's the part most people don't realize about people like you. This calm around being ignored didn't just appear out of nowhere. It was built slowly through experiences where attention didn't always feel safe. Moments where being seen meant being judged, misunderstood, or emotionally drained. So your system adapted in a very quiet but powerful way. It stopped chasing attention and started protecting your inner peace instead. And over time, that protection became your natural way of existing. Now, being ignored doesn't feel like loss, it feels like control. A kind of freedom most people don't even realize they're missing. So tell me, is this really you, or does it feel like something deeper?